Okay, so how can we establish snatch technique? We have to have a snatch progression. Okay, so we have to know what's that progression to go from never doing a snatch to actually understanding that movement. So there's two key concepts that we have to know right off the bat. That's going to be establishing our grip and our foot positioning. Now, when we're doing this, we need to not be paralyzed by our grip width, okay? There's a couple simple cues that you can use. I like to use the rings, and we have a technique stick from Garage Strength that we use that has the rings actually on the wooden dowel rod. And so Haley's gonna use her snatch technique, her snatch grip right off the bat, and she knows where that is. But one key thing that we can do is that's her snatch position, and you can see with her hip here, the bar is right at her hip. Now, if she would move her hands closer, the bar lowers, okay? So a simple cue can be get wide enough so that the bar is right in at your hip. That's a good start for your snatch technique, for your snatch grip. Another easy thing that you can do is put two fists over your head, okay? And you can see here, that's about where Haley's grip is set up. The next key is setting up the foot positioning. I typically will recommend 1 foot width apart is where you want to establish your pulling position. When we go to the catch position, that's going to be slightly wider. It might be shoulder width apart. It might be a little wider than shoulder width in the catch position based off of your limb length, based off your hip mobility. Okay, so now we're going to get into the actual progression of the movement. First, we want to start with snatch press. Okay, so stand up, yep, and then now press off the shoulders. We want to squeeze the upper back and drive those elbows. This is the first key behind the snatch positioning. Now we're going to get into an overhead squat. So she's going to move her feet to the catch position a little bit wider, and she's going to execute an overhead squat. Good. So we want her butt going backwards and her knees being pulled forward while she holds an upright torso. So after we do the overhead squat, we're going to lower that onto your shoulders. And now is where it's going to start to get a little bit more complicated. Okay, we did the snatch presses, then we did the overhead squats. Now we're going to sort of combine them together where we want to see a drive and a drop. Now the complicated part here is that we want to drive with our pulling stance and catch in our catching stance. So Haley's going to demonstrate a snatch balance. Good. Give me 2 more. Drive up. Good. 1 more. Good. And if we think about it, the snatch balance is essentially a combination of pressing and then doing that overhead squat. But the key here is that we have to think about receiving that snatch, okay? Receiving that as well as we possibly can. Now we're going to transfer over to the actual pull. So we're thinking about this from the top down. We want to start in the catch, and now we're going into the pull. Haley's going to execute a muscle snatch. So when we're doing a muscle snatch, we're going to start with our feet in the pulling position, okay? And all we want to think about is pulling with our upper body. Okay, give me 3, no contact. Good, nice easy pull. Good, so she's using her shoulders to finish, and that's getting to that catch position that we previously worked on with the snatch balance. Okay, good. Now we have that pulling position instilled in us. We want to go into the hip. This is the easiest place to start. We're going to do a high hang power snatch. So we're going to start here. We're going to come forward with the knees and forward with the chest and finish into that power snatch position. Good. 1 more. From that high hang power snatch into the high hang full snatch. So now Haley's going to hold the exact same positioning, but she's going to catch it in the hole. Give me 2. And notice her feet, they're starting in that pulling position, and then she's catching wider in the catch position. Okay, good. And now the next step is that we're going to go into a slow pull into the full. Okay, so we want to see a very controlled position from below the knee. And that the whole focus here is that we want to just think about keeping the bar as tight as possible. We want to clear the knees back as the bar gets to the knee, and now we're back into that high hang position that we previously worked on. So we're going to get knees back, high hang position, into the full snatch. So nice and slow. Like, good, now finish, good. Me 2. Give me 1 more. Okay, and then we're gonna finish now with the actual full tempo. This will be slightly quicker than what that slow pull was doing. Good, one more. Perfect. Okay, so remember, we want to use a light bar or a technique stick to learn these movements. We want to practice them over and over and over again. We want to start with the snatch press. We want to do a top-down progression. After that snatch press, we're going to get to that overhead squat position. Remember the positioning of our feet. If we're catching, we want to have a little bit wider. After the snatch press and the overhead squat, we want to get into the snatch balance. Okay, the snatch balance is a key concept that you have to learn for receiving the bar. After that, we're going to work on that pull with a muscle snatch, going from the muscle snatch into the high hang power snatch. From the high hang power snatch, we're going to go to a high hang full snatch. Then we're going to go down into a slow snatch and a full snatch right off the floor.